Hi, I'm Majewicz, and this is my narrative speech, and this is the audience that I'm going to show you. This is my mom.
Hi, Maureen.
And my other 3 audience members that I was going to have weren't able to attend, so sorry for the last minute change. For my speech today, I'm going to tell you about my first day going to college and how much of a change I went through. My purpose is to inform you, obviously, and so by the end of the speech, my audience member will be able to understand the changes that I went through for my first year. My central idea for this speech is me going from a co-ed school after being in all-girls high school for 4 years and how overwhelming it was for me. Usually people look back at their years in college as the best 4 years of their lives. Making drastic changes in life end up making a positive outcome rather than a negative one. And my 3 main points I will be telling you today are about the new city that I went to, the enrollment size that I had to change from, and the boys that I was with. I was unsure at how well I would adjust to being in such a different setting for the first year. First off, I was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and I had to change from Omaha to Lincoln. Lincoln is much smaller than Omaha, and I did not know my way around the city like I do in Omaha. I was nervous to not be living in the same city as my parents and siblings, but I was able to learn how to live on my own and how to do things without parental help, which was very odd at first. After realizing I would be living in a different city, I also had to take in the number of students I will be in class and on campus with. Going from Marion High School, which I attended, my class size would range from 20 to 30 students. Then going to the UNL, I had to go to 50 to 70 students on average, which was very overwhelming at first, but I made adjustments to cope with it. My entire grade size in high school was fewer than 150 students, which you can imagine is pretty small. My overall school size at Marion was fewer than 800 students, but then I went to Lincoln and just my class size itself was 1,200 plus students, which was very overwhelming for me because I didn't know how to act around that many people at once. Lastly, I had to take in the fact that only girls did not surround me at school anymore. I went to a grade school with boys for 8 years. But then I went to an all-girls school for 4 years, so I wasn't used to having boys around me all the time. Being surrounded by boys for the first couple of weeks was strange, but I was able to adjust to it quite quickly. I thought guys would care about your appearance, but they really don't. I used to dress in a uniform from kindergarten to senior year, so I didn't really know how to dress for class. So the first week I kind of dressed nicely to see if we really needed to have a good appearance for guys. But eventually I just kind of dressed in this. After a month or so, I hardly even noticed being in class with guys. It didn't really matter to me. But I still miss going to an all-girls school because I was closer to teachers and I had just girls around me, which was easier to be around with. Although I was quite nervous to go through such a big change, I realized it was for the better and I'm glad I went through it. After going to an all-girls school for 4 years and switching to a much bigger and more diverse school, I realized that my experience turned out to be better than what I expected. My message to all these people, if you're going from an all-girls school or just smaller high school to a bigger university, if you're nervous for college, don't be, because it brings such a positive change to your life that you won't ever forget. And lastly, for being a naturally outgoing person, the change was easy for me than what I expected. And also, break out of your shell and make college the best time of your life. And lastly, I'll show you that my audience member is still here. Say hello.
Hi, I'm still here.
Thank you for listening to my speech.